Hi, welcome to the Gamesplaner. I'm Jeff the Gamesplaner, and today I'm gamesplaning Russian railroads. In the game of Russian railroads, we are trying to build a railway line from Russia, or from Moscow more importantly, to Vladivostok, St. Petersburg, and Kiev. The aim of the game is to get points. You get points by building those railway lines longer and by getting locomotives that can actually reach further down the track. This game is similar to pretty much every other worker placement game in which you take a meeple, place it somewhere on the board, and do the action that is associated with that particular spot. I'll talk you through the real basics of the board first up. So if there's a picture of a single meeple, it's going to cost you one meeple to play that space. If there's a picture of two meeples, obviously it will cost you two. And if there's a picture of three, it will cost you three. The other thing that you are able to do if you don't have enough meeples is you could use a coin to take a spot. So a single coin will take a meeple spot, or you could join it with a meeple to take a two meeple spot. The other side, so where the arrow is pointing to, tells you what you get by going to the particular space. The iconography on this game is relatively straightforward. So we're looking at the different coloured railway lines, and I'll talk about what they mean in a second. And the number of railway lines is talking about how many movements you can do. It doesn't have to be with different railways. It could be with the same railway. It could be either. These ones over here are talking about these cards here. You'll notice that they're the same shape as the icon, or the back, which is also the same shape as the icon on the board. This line here is talking about this chip here. It's actually a picture of it just there, and that is talking about one of these and a railway. And these ones here are talking about exactly what is pictured. So this token, otherwise known as a doubler, is what you get for the top right hand. Two monies as pictured in the second one down, and these two meeples that you get to put to work. You must put them to work within this round. You can't hang on to them for a future round, but they will go to work for you as well as your own meeples. The only other stuff that we have on the main board, this one here, that little ghost means that we can have as many meeples as we like. That one is a meeple plus a coin. It's really straightforward. You can see how this is working. These cards here, there's one of them available each turn. It will cost one coin in order to purchase that. When you purchase it, this is called an engineer. The engineer comes down and places next to your board and becomes another space that only you are able to use. This one gives you that movement of a black track plus 3 points. Super straightforward. The two engineers that are here that are face up, they are two extra spaces. So we've got some bonus points there and some movement of tracks. If there's a question mark, it means any color track can move. As turns go on, that one comes out on the first turn. That one will move along. That will move along. And a new one becomes available. This is a way of keeping track of how many turns the game has actually had, as well as changing up what's available each turn. And the other one is the first player spot, so you can go and select to be first player, unless you're already first player, in which case you go to there to guarantee that you're going to stay as second player. And then at the end of the round, the meeple that you've put up there gets to be used in any available location, plus the order of the players' moves. And you'll see how that works in the playthrough video that I do later on. Okay, that's the basics of the main board. Let's come down to the player board. The player board has these three tracks I was talking about earlier: Vladivostok, St. Petersburg, and Kiev. As we move along the Vladivostok line, you'll notice that it's quite a lot longer than the Kiev line. What we're looking at is, firstly, we have the black rail, which will get moved along by using that point up on the top left-hand corner. So say I selected this point up here with two meeples, I would move this to 3 spaces along the track. Whenever I cross over one of these pictures, that gives me a bonus. So in this case, black track came across this one. That gives me 3 grey tracks. The grey track comes in behind the black track. The grey track is not able to move past the black track. So I can now advance the grey track up to 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3. But I couldn't go a 4th until I moved this black one. At the end of the round, there is a scoring point, so we score points for the rails that are along the track. However, we only score for the distance that our locomotive has been able to move. This is where gaining the extra locomotives comes in. We need to get stronger locomotives to be able to reach further down the track. The way we select locomotives is when you take one of those locomotive spots, you have to take the smallest number. So in this case, it's the 2. You grab the 2, you can add it here, which will suddenly give me a strength of 3, so I can score this grey track backwards. Or I could place it on one of the other 2 lines. Once that pile's gone and the 3 comes in, I have the option of replacing one of these 2 locomotives. So, say for example, I move that one down. I've upgraded that locomotive, the 1 to a 3. I've now put that 1 down onto my bottom track, which gets the engine up to this point. Now you notice some of them have this little plus marker on it. That means that you will only get the bonus or score the points if your locomotive has managed to get there as well as the track that is pictured. So in this one up here, you're looking at the brown track plus the locomotive strength to there before you're able to get another meeple. If you can get your locomotive and a black track on the St. Petersburg line up to this point, you'll get a bonus chit. These are the bonus chits. There's a whole bunch of them. What they do is relatively straightforward on the iconography on the back of them, but that's explained the rules. I'm not going to go through all of them because they'll take too long and no one's going to remember it anyway. Anywhere that there's a dotted line means that it's a space for a bonus marker to go. And once again, that's on those chits, and you'll come across that as you go through the game. The other locations we need to be aware of on our board is down the bottom here. This is the industry track down the bottom. This marker is the industry marker. So you have the choice. There was a few spots up on the board here that allow you to advance your industry marker. You can advance it up to the number 5 at the moment. And wherever this industry marker is, that will give you points at the scoring at the end of the round when we score. You can't move past the number 5 until you get a factory in, and we get factories by making a choice up there to grab a factory instead of an engine. So when we grab factories, once again, we grab the lowest numbered engine, which in this case is 3, flip it over, and now it's a factory, and there's a bonus on the bottom, on the back, which we get straight away. So in this case, you're enabled to do the action of one of the locations on the board where you already have one of your meeples. You get to do it again for free when you put that in. Once that's in, you're then able to advance your industry marker further along, so that will get you more bonus points. These are bonus points you get every scoring round. If this is what your board looks like and you get another locomotive, you would be taking a number 4, because that's where the lowest number that's available. So I could use this number 4 to upgrade my number 2 locomotive. My number 2 could then get bounced down to upgrade my number 1 locomotive if I wished. And then my number 1 would be put over to the side next to the locomotives on its factory side. So that's now available to be picked up as a factory instead of picking up the next lowest locomotive and turning it into a factory. What you're not able to do is move the number 3 to, say, the number 4 spot so you can get that up to an 8. You're only allowed to upgrade in locomotives. You're not allowed to just swap them around. You'll notice that there is also here a double scoring. So what this does is if you can get your grey track plus your locomotive up to the number 7 on this track, you'll get twice the number of points available for you on every scoring round. So what do those scoring rounds look like? So you know what you're working towards is when we get to the end of the round, and the end of the round is when everyone's passed or everyone has used their meeples and is no longer able to put anything else down. we go to the strength of each engine. So in this case, we've got a strength of 7. So the 7 is here, and we can score everything behind here for what the tracks are. It's according to this key up in the right-hand corner. So coming back, black is worth 0, so we don't get any points for that. The grey ones are worth 1, so that's 1 point there, that's 1 point there. The brown is worth 2, so that's 2 points there and 2 points there. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points for this current line. If we were to come down here, there's no points for this black one on the 1. There is no points for the black one on the 1 here, but because that black and the locomotive have managed to get here, we still get this +1 bonus points. If this one happened to be here, we would not only get this +2, we would also get that +1. So that's worth another 3 points for that black one being there with the engine able to reach it. These doublers that I was talking about earlier, as you gain them, so you gain them from that top right-hand corner, you place them on the left-hand side first, and what that does, it doubles the value of any track that's on here. So at the moment, that track would have been worth 2. With this chit here, it actually makes that point worth 4. So currently, this is worth 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 points for what's currently there. There are stars at the end of each line. That is bonus points for getting your black track to the end, and that's points that you'll take immediately. The only other thing to be aware of is these engineers. There are bonus points for the person with the most engineers at the end of the game. So whoever has the most gets 40 points, second most is 20 points, and everyone else gets 0. As you start the new round each time, and this goes for the first round as well, these cards get handed out to each player. The first player will get the number 1, second player number 2, 3 and 4, obviously. What's on the back of them is bonus points. So when you pass, you flip over this card and take that number of points straight away. It's easily forgotten, so please try and remember that. And that basically means that the later on in the turn order you go, the more points you're going to gain from that, because it's harder to get points. Then when the new player order is sorted out, these cards go handed out to the new player order. At the beginning of the game, once you've explained all of that, there are these 4 bonus cards. The person who will be going last gets their first choice to take one of these cards. So they might decide that they really want a doubler because now they know what it means. They take that card and put a doubler onto their spot. The third player to go will then make their choice as to what they want to do. They might decide to move one of their black ones forward 1. Then the second player to go will make their choice. They might go, oh, I want a coin. First player doesn't get this one, unfortunately. There's no bonuses for being first. That's about it for Russian Railroad. I'm hoping I've managed to get through that really quickly. I hope this helps you get Russian Railroad to the table. If you have any suggestions or comments, please write them below. Please subscribe to my videos to see what games I'm gamesplaining. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter to keep up to date with the games that I'm playing. If you have any games that you wish to be gamesplaying, please shoot me an email at thegamesplainer@gmail.com. And until next time, enjoy gaming.